start the stream and away we go. We're just making sure YouTube Studio has fired. It has. That's good. I have no video yet though, so we're waiting for that to happen. There it is. Good times, good times, good times. Hope you are doing well where you are. I'm going to let that just hang out over here. Just switch that out of the way. And away we go. Hopefully couch belt will fire in just a second, but we got to move it along. Greetings one and all. Chris Courtney here, new Pragmatic. It's time for the feedback loop. Another medley, another trio of students in this morning. Ricardo's here. Let's see. Abby is here. Bryn is here. The new colleagues, the new cohort coming through strong. All the October and I guess fall. We should just say the fall cohort. Lots of activity there. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen so we can get this underway. And right away we've got Ricardo's work, competitive research, and the one thing I'll say, and I'm going to double check this real quick, I sent a request over for access to your spreadsheet, Ricardo. Can't get into it right now, although I do think it's great that you kind of took a minute to kind of break down what you were looking at. This looks like Chicago Social. I'm just going to change that to uppercase S on that. Chicago Social, Grab a Game, Open Sports, and Infinite Hoops were the ones that you decided to take a look at as competitors for active weekends. And Chicago Social, I live in Chicago, so I'm familiar with them. The others, I am not. So one of the things that I like to typically do is go in and investigate these further. So this is Open Sports, and you're saying it's Open Sports, and it looks like it's based there in Toronto. And yep, so actually, Bryn had brought this one up before as well. This is more of a platform. So this is like something that a company like a Chicago Social or an Active Weekends would use. It's good to know about these platforms. It's good to be aware of what they do. Not really a direct competitor to Active Weekends. There's no actual organization going on. It does look like the Chicago Fire uses them for some sort of scheduling, because I see the Chicago Fire terrible new logo. Anyway, looks like Open Sports is there, so we have that one. Familiar with that one. There's also Chicago Sports Social and this Grab a Game that you brought up, and then there was one more. I'm going to go ahead and close that. Infinite Hoops by Broadside Digital. Let's go ahead and seek that one out as well. Just to kind of get a range here. Find pickup basketball games. Yeah, this is definitely not a direct competitor. It looks more like a platform that you might use to find random pickup games. Keep in mind, Active Weekends deals more with corporate clienteles. They run leagues. So these two are very much applications. They don't really address the market. So we'll keep our focus down here on Grab a Game and Chicago Sports Social. One thing I noticed right away, and keep in mind, what's the focus? Why have you been brought in to the client? You've been brought in to help them figure out how should we be positioning ourselves with regard to the COVID outbreak. Like, what can we do? Can we actually have events? Can we go do softball games? Can we play football? Can we do basketball? What can and can't we do? And it says here, like your competitor here, who by the way has a terrible font for reading. It's all caps. It's just bad. Fall sports and events are available now with safety. Ooh, gosh, you can't have a misspelling on your home page. Protocols. See, this is why they need you. All right, this is a professional organization, and they've got a misspelling right on the freaking homepage. Available now with safety protocols to play safe and maximize your experience. Okay, so let's see. I just want to view the sports. Like, what are they doing right now? Um, and it's nice that it looks like bowling maybe. So they have basketball, they have beach volleyball, they have bowling. Now it's funny because this doesn't look like there is any sort of um, restrictions, like based on what I'm seeing here. Um, so I'm really not sure. Like first of all, the icons here are difficult to mow through. Um, like I know that's basketball, but I don't really know what that is. Is it? And I don't see like a. I don't. I don't see anything with it. So let's go ahead and look at. Let's look at current. Oh, okay. So this is all. And this when you hit current, it like lowers it down. So let's look at football. Are they playing football? Is that what I'm seeing here? Um, and they have 1 day tournaments in November. So they have a 1 day. So that's interesting. It's like they have it, but it's not something you can do a lot with. It's just like you can play in this tournament. It comes up in November, and that's it. There is no quote league, right? If we keep going here, let's go back. So that's football. I want to look at basketball. Is it similar? Or are they doing like single tournaments? Um, and it looks like this is okay. It says find a league, and it looks like there are in fact leagues. They play. So these leagues play on Monday or Wednesday. Might be the same league. Um, okay, this starts. That's very interesting. This is about to start. This is not ongoing. Um, so those leagues begin, and it's looking at. Looks like they have if you look at the season, they have a season that runs September to October, and then they have a second season that runs um, November to December. So it's what I can't figure out is based on this registration cycle, like when these seasons actually begin, because it says they start in November or in October, but this says that these run through October. So I'm not quite sure what they do and don't do. But it is interesting. I can say that it's clear they're playing football. They're playing basketball. So I want to look at their guidelines. So their guidelines: stay at home if you feel sick. Keep 6 feet apart. Wear face coverings when not playing. Wear hand sanitizers. Avoid touching eyes and mouth. Check in at league. Confirm daily. I think that's a misspelling. I don't know what that's supposed to be. Attestations? I have no idea what they mean there. Attendance? Man, boy, that's really something that right there. I'm saying this for everybody who's watching. Misspellings in your site, in your active, like that's two from a company that's wanting me to spend hundreds of dollars with them to help facilitate recreation. It's like it's not a good look. It really makes you question whether they're paying attention. So like look out for that sort of stuff. And when I can find it like right off the top, that's a problem. Like that's I'm not really digging hard. All right. So what's interesting is they have guidelines for all sports, complying with state mandates. I don't know what. Oh, and then it's a broken link. That's not good. Um, it seems to be a phrase that maybe that's a phrase that maybe that's not a misspelling. Maybe that's just a phrase that I'm not familiar with. Daily. I just want to look that phrase up. I've never seen that phrase before. Like, what is that phrase? Evidence or proof. Okay. Fair. It wasn't a misspelling. It was just a weird word to say evidence. All right. Daily log? I mean, there's a lot of other words we can use for that. Anyway, we need to dig deeper into these, and again, because I can't see your spreadsheet, I can't really look and see how deeply you dug in on any of these. But looking at your overview, when I look for COVID, I don't see anything for COVID. I don't see anything for COVID. I don't see anything. So I don't see any mention of COVID in your research. But the company is bringing you in specifically to go, how do we position ourselves to safely compete with rival companies? How do we do this? So they're looking for guidance specific to this. So they have guidance on sport-specific guidance. Use a new ball for each game. Leave in packaging until game time. Kickball. After the game, balls are given to coordinator to spray down and air dry. New sanitized ball used for each game. They got rules for like where the catcher has to stand and where the umpire has to stand. No group celebrations. Bring your own water bottle. Wait in car until it's time for your team to play. So, I mean, they've got some pretty hefty guidelines. This is pretty serious. And player responsibilities. It's just it's not just stay home if you're sick. It's also wait in your car, bring your own water bottle. No group celebrations. So you score, do not run over and like high five all your friends. Just like wave. Seems less fun, but it's safe, and that's the point of this exercise. What are other people doing, and what recommendations should you be making to your client to make them competitive? All right. As Bren pointed out, like she was looking at companies in her area, and there was one that didn't make any mention to COVID at all. Like it was as if COVID was not a concern at all, even though there was a statewide mask mandate where she's at. There was no mention of COVID, so it's interesting. So what's interesting here is for indoor leagues, all players must wear face coverings at all times and remain socially distanced, 6 feet apart or more whenever possible when they are on site or playing indoors. So I mean, like I can't guard you within 6 feet. So basketball to me seems like it's really hard to pull off. Inside, it seems like you could play it outside. It might be cold, but you could actually play the game. So that's something that I like. You should look at and dig into deeper. So let's look at those. Also, let's look at these guidelines. Here's Grab a Game, and Grab a Game this is just pickup games. So pickup games are a little different than the league sports that Active Weekends is doing. And one of the key things is this. Active Weekends, they're getting people by the company or by the industry. So they're getting these big chunks, all right? This Grab a Game thing is like, I'm a single player and I want to like get in here. It is interesting though. They do also have COVID-19 guidelines, and their sport-specific guidelines are a little more limited. Volleyball, soccer, and basketball. I'm wondering if that's because those are the sports that are offered. And sure enough, basketball, there's esports, volleyball. So let's look at the full schedule of sports. It looks like it's simply more limited. You get pickup. Oh, and look at that. Powered by, there you have it. There's right here in the footer, it's Chicago Social. So this is the same company. So I guarantee that most of these COVID-19 guidelines are picked up from this. Although this Grab a Game, actually, I look at it and I'm like, well, I can actually read the content, so that's a positive. So here you get a sense of like what's going on. October 14th, there's several things that are happening. October 15th, there's several things that are happening. October 16th, few things. The 17th is a weekend, so there's more happening. So it's clear that they are still actively occurring. They have guidelines. They have a number of sports they are playing. No, but there's one tournament on flag football. Flag football is a pretty big deal. A lot of people play it, and there's like one tournament. There is soccer, but it's not. It's six-pack volleyball. So these are the tournaments that they have. I'm curious about soccer, even though every time I go looking for soccer, I go looking for football. Because it's really not, soccer's not a thing. And look at that, there's not a league. So that's interesting. Although what we don't know is that is it just because that's out of season? No, it's not out of season. They're just not playing it. So there are clearly like things that they normally do that they're not doing. There are guidelines. The question is, what guidance would you give to your client? And I didn't see that. I didn't see any mention of any of that here. So we need to look at this competitor matrix data. You may need to go dig deeper. And the other thing I would say is this is really the same company. Like these two companies are the same. That's really the only competitor you've identified. These are platforms, so I would just kind of dismiss those. So I might because these two are the same, I might go dig in and find a third that is not also Chicago Social, okay, and see what they're doing, because you want to have that broader sense of the marketplace. All right, let's close that. Let's go over here to Bren. Bren, you've got your survey looking at school systems and COVID, and one thing I see here is like you've definitely used conditional logic here to say, hey, if somebody says no, they haven't been impacted by remote learning, just like submit the form, like boot them out of the flow. If they say yes, continue to the next section. The next section is this, but it's in the same section. So this how has remote learning impacted you? I'm a teacher, I'm an administrator, I'm a parent, I'm a student, like these things. You might want to have an other, like for those random, like I'm a business owner and kids and parents don't come for sandwiches. Like there could be some of that. So I might add an other here. But the big thing here is like if they say no, and then you ask, well, how has it impacted you? It's like, wait, I just said no, it doesn't. So, those are the types of things that are going to lead to bounces. And like I said, have you personally been impacted? No. How has remote learning impacted you? It's like, wait, I told you I have not been impacted. But I'll play along. I'll say teacher next. Main challenges of virtual learning tools. Please select all that apply. Which school structure is most comfortable? Are you most comfortable with during the pandemic? Which school structure are you least comfortable with? I like it that you have other here because you're going to be able to hit some of the things, but not all of the things. And so this is select all that apply. That's why we got the different shapes. And then we come down here. How has the change in school systems during COVID impacted you? I'm going to just select a few things just to kind of move us through. I think these questions are all fine. Next. Okay. So this sort of thing will also lead to some bounce, and I'm not necessarily certain we absolutely have to have it. Like personal income last year. Why do we need that? I do know why it's helpful, because it's helpful to know, like, are these lower income individuals that, and that comes, essential workers is who I begin to think about, like people who are working jobs where they have to go into work and they're probably low paid to begin with and they don't have a Chromebook at home and maybe they don't have internet or Wi-Fi. Like I see that, um, but it could be an issue. So let's say that. Which of the following categories best describes your employment status? This is fine. Highest level of school completed. Any of these are fine. Would it be okay to contact you regarding survey responses? If so, please provide your email here. Here I typically go, can we contact you with a follow-up? Yes, no. If they say no, I kick them to a thanks for playing. If they say yes, I kick them to a field that says, can you please, so happy to have you along. Would you please enter your email address? It's the same thing. It's just breaking it apart, and you want to make them declare that either they will or won't help you, and I make it a required question. So long story short, I don't think you need a lot of these demographics. Knowing their employment status is helpful because the stay-at-home parent thing. How they answer some of the other questions will tell you a lot about personal income without digging in on that detail, and it may lower your bounce rate. All right, and then finally, Abby, I wanted to take a quick second to follow up. I looked through these last night. You've really expanded upon the user stories that you had, and some of these, like I said yesterday, in the note, like I need access to custodians so the classrooms will be clean properly between class. That's more of like, okay, here's what we're hearing from teachers. Dear school district, your teachers need these things. Okay, and you can ask about these things when you talk to people, although you've already had your interviews. But these are more things that you would deliver to the district as recommendations to improve the system that operates in a real space. When you talk about building a digital product, I began looking at this and thinking about, oh, hey, I need to connect with teachers. Well, okay, and you broke this down. I need the ability to communicate with teachers quickly. Why? So I can so my child and I can ask questions. I need the ability to see teacher feedback, so I can help my child understand the content and improve. It seems like there needs to be, in the platform that you enter, you need to be a way to see like teachers that are associated with your child, or you need to see your child and the teachers that are associated with them. Whichever way that orientation is, when we think about a platform, we think about, okay, I'm going to go in, and if I arrive at the digital space, I need to do something. What do I need to do? Well, I probably need to log in. I have to identify myself. And that's when we begin to take the steps of creating a flow. All right? So if I were to come in here and create a flow, and I'm going to start by a terminator, which basically is the beginning or ending of any flow, and I'm going to say log into system, and from here, and again I'm over here in flow map. From here, I'm going to say, okay, so I log into system. So now I'm at the dashboard. Locate student profile. So here on the dashboard, we want to locate student profile. The next step would be to view student classes. So the question is, what would I see? Would I see? So here's the student profile. Here's like their dashboard. Here's all their things. So I'm going to go to the student classes, and then on that student class, I would so I've clicked on the class. I would view teacher profile. So I'm thinking like when you've logged into the system, you've located the student profile, you've viewed their associated classes. Associated with each of those classes is the teacher profile, and on the teacher profile, you then would view contact details. So a teacher probably has an email. They might have a phone number. There could be other ways to interact with them, and here, this is where we have like a decision to make. It's like, okay, choose contact method. And I can make this a little larger. Can't make it too much larger. So we're going to choose the contact method, and then here it would be might be, and I'll put the terminator here. Call teacher. Text teacher. Email teacher. And I'm going to move this one down a little bit. And here we would just like begin dragging these lines. Well, I didn't want to do that. I want to do more like this. And this is a really simple version of what it would look like as a parent to say, all right, so I'm going to go into the system and I need to reach out to the teacher. How might I do that? Now, the question is, are there other ways to get there? Maybe. Maybe there are. Maybe I can go into the system and I can just see teachers and see a list of teachers. It all depends on how you want to organize the information on the dashboard. And that's really where these flows, become a major part of determining what is it that we're designing. How did I get here? Well, you identified that the person wants to communicate quickly with teachers. So I need to have those teachers available somehow. I need to see teacher feedback. So how might I do that? Well, that's probably going to be going to the class. And we'll come back over here to flow map. I'm going to view student classes, right? And that may be a flow that branches off in a different direction, because I'm going to then go look at recent assignments for that class. And maybe I'll look at an assignment and I'll see the feedback. So you're going to go in the same way, but now you're going to go in a different direction. So what we're really talking about is like a portal to see everything that's going on with that student. All right? So that's going to wrap it up for today's edition. So that's going to wrap it up for today's edition of the Feedback Loop. I hope this was beneficial to you. It's always great to see the work that you're doing. And thanks to Bryn, thanks to Ricardo, thanks to Abby for turning in their work today. And I hope to see all of you again right here tomorrow. Take care.